And we are back, everybody. Just Saying has finally returned. After what, Shay? It's been 5 months?
5 whole months.
A whole month. Because there's no such thing as partial months.
That's right. I don't know who said that. They're in testing.
No idea either. But, yeah, we are back. Great to be back. Really excited to start this again. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Shay, how was your break?
Well, over the last 5 months, I just worked pretty much. Kept going to the gym consistently, focus on myself.
He's getting pretty buff, folks.
I'm getting jacked. Just kidding. I'm in therapy, and that's not a knock at all. If you need help, go to therapy, So just trying to help my self-confidence, all that good stuff. Jairus, how was yours? How was your break?
It was actually very good. Been going to the gym as well. I actually just took a vacation. And
what? That's why you were gone?
Went to Jacksonville with my friend to see all of our friends, because I lived in Jacksonville for 3 years. And we decided to go to St. Augustine for a day, and that was so much fun. We went to the distillery, toured that, had a bourbon tasting. We went to the old jail, and got to see how 8 cells held 72 men at once.
Huh.
Can't imagine what was going on in there.
No.
But then after that, we went to the oldest retail store, and that was actually really cool. They had a bunch of old technology, old bikes, old like washing equipment, laundry, coffee grinders. So yeah, very, very nice. It was a beautiful day out too. It was hot, because it's Florida.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
beautiful. No rain at all. Actually, the drive up to Jacksonville from where I live was terrible. We did stop to see the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie on the way, but the drive took like 6.5 hours when it should only take 4.5.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So that was not good. But yeah, had a really good long break. Been working on a few projects behind the scenes, and this is one of them. Coming back to talk about sports and Marvel and movies for all you fine people. If you stuck with us, thank you so much when we've been taking this break. And if you're new listening to this podcast, we'd like to welcome you.
Welcome to the community.
Welcome to the Just Saying Nation.
As you said, this us coming back has been in the works for a while, of course. And I'd say we've made a couple changes, but I'd say for the most part, the core of why we wanted to do this is still, of course, first and foremost and right at the center of attention. It's fair to say we've both felt that when we started the podcast and we were, a few months into it, it got pretty stressful. And then, of course, disclaimer, you're going to probably hear some dogs throughout the episode. So there's nothing we can do. But yeah, got a little stressful trying to keep up with all the stats and records for all the sports that we follow and love. And then also trying to keep up with the news in the sports and news outside of sports, anything to do with Marvel or DC or whatever. So we thought it was pretty stressful, maybe a little too much, especially to do only 1 hour-ish once a week. So format's changed a little bit. You want to go into that for a second?
Yeah, definitely. So instead of just regurgitating the stats and, oh, this is who won, this is by what score, and getting all the news and just running through really quickly on it and not really having much of a discussion about anything, we decided that we want to make this podcast more discussion based. So basically how this podcast is going to work now, we are shifting our focus from news and weekly game recaps, which is what we were primarily doing. We're going to focus more on discussion-based show, where we choose a topic. We ask like a question. So next week we are going to focus on the NFL offseason. So, basically we asked ourselves the question, okay, what teams did well during the NFL offseason? Who had a great draft? Who picked up a lot of good free agents? Who's really revamped their offense, their defense? Who maybe has not done so well in the draft and free agency? Who made a lot of moves? Who didn't make any moves? Which teams now look the strongest in their division? Just stuff like that. And we're going to obviously answer that question with the discussion, and we're going to still use the stats to support our position. But that's what we want it to be more of, not just putting the stats out there. Because I know me, like, I have a phone like everybody else does. So if I want to know scores, I can literally just do a quick Google search, and it will tell me all the scores for like week 1 of the NFL and who won. So
yeah, as far as like sports go, we're still going to talk about our teams and go in a little deeper for our teams. Just we love our teams and we want to talk about them. But for the rest of the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, it's more, like you said, discussion based, and we might hit and talk about a couple teams here and there, but mostly it's just going to be our teams, and then whatever we want to talk about in regards to that. The podcast is going to be, this one might be a little shorter, but they're all going to be about an hour long, max hour and 10 minutes, just because we don't really have the time to go any longer. But there's some things in the future that could help with that. So
yeah, so we'll definitely keep you updated. If we start doing anything else, we will let you know. Maybe there would be an opportunity for us to go into more detail with some of the topics we talk about.
Yep.
But like Shay said, easy for me to say, unfortunately, there's just not enough time in an hour to get to every single team, get to every single move. So if you feel like your team's being left out, or if you would like us to talk about your team, let us know. Let us know in the comments. When we make a Facebook post, go make sure to follow our Facebook page so you get updates on that, and let us know. And any discussions we have, we'll be posting them there as well, so we can get in you guys on the discussion. And that's also one of the goals of making a discussion-based podcast, is so you guys can get involved, state your opinion, and what you think. So look forward to that. And like I said again, it is so good to be back doing this podcast for you fine people. I've been really excited for the last month to finally record. So Shay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'd say just real quick with these changes, I think it's pretty safe to say we're not going to get to every single thing that we want to talk about all the time, or even most of the time, and that's okay as long as we have good discussions about it, about whatever we're talking about.
Yep, exactly. And like we said, if you feel like your team's being left out, let us know, and we'll keep it in mind for sure. So the first thing that we are going to discuss is Marvel, because there's a lot that has happened, especially in the last month with Marvel, and we got some stuff to discuss. So first off, I have seen it, but Shay has not. The new Deadpool Wolverine movie, and it's a Deadpool movie. So what else do you expect? It was hilarious. It was incredible. I can't say any spoilers.
Nope.
For him.
There will be no more podcasts if you did.
Yeah. For him and for you fine people. Because I'm not like that.
So just go see the movie.
Yeah, go see the movie. But yeah, the film was incredible. One thing I will say on my opinion about it, I think it's exactly what the MCU needed. As we knew this year, that was gonna be the only major feature film for the MCU, and just it being a Deadpool movie, you knew people were gonna go see it. Ryan Reynolds, born to play that role, he's fantastic, and just awesome.
So
awesome movie.
So here we go, discussion. What we're doing, because you've seen the movie, obviously with no spoilers. As you just said, this is Marvel's only feature film of the year. Really, their one big project for the year. They purposefully took a break, which we both thought was very smart. So after seeing this movie, again without spoilers, do you think this was a good course correct? And obviously we have to see how, what the projects are next year and how they look. But do you think this was a good course correct for Marvel? And are you now more excited, at least for the immediate future of Marvel?
Yeah, I think so. It was a very lighthearted, very funny movie. And yeah, I think it's exactly what the MCU needed. Just, basically coming back to like ground level. We've been like on all these different like characters, all these different timelines, even like all the multiversal stuff. This movie really just kind of, okay, let's pull it back a little bit. Let's just kind of ground ourselves. And I think that's what the movie did really well. And like we said, I think that's exactly what the MCU needed, was just to pull back, let's refocus, let's reground ourselves, and basically start like weeding out anything that has not worked. And I think that movie accomplished that pretty well. And it's hard to say if I'm like excited for the future of the MCU, just because this is the only movie. But there are some like future projects that we know of, like Captain America, Brave New World, and there's also the Venom movie, but technically it's not an MCU movie.
Yeah. But well, I can't wait to go see the movie whenever I'm able to. So with that being said, now we move into the future a little bit, because San Diego Comic-Con just happened, which is a huge event every single year. That is finally back to what it was pre-COVID, as being as big as it used to be. And of course, Marvel was there, and we're just going to lead off right away with the biggest news from San Diego Comic-Con is Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, and he's not coming back as Iron Man. He will be Doctor Doom. And not only that, the Russo brothers are back to direct the next 2 Avengers movies, which they changed Avengers the Kang Dynasty to Avengers Doomsday. So, we're both obviously going to talk about it. But it's been a wild, week since that's been announced. What do you think of RDJ coming back? What do you think of the Russo brothers coming back? And we'll get into the Kang stuff after that, I guess. But those 2 questions first.
Yeah, so I want to start off with like the good news, like the news that's not so divisive. The Russo brothers returning as directors of the Avengers, I think, is a great move. We've seen a lot of the movies over the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years with directors. They've tried to move in a different direction, which, like, I'm all for. Sorry about that. Which I'm all for. Trying new stuff, exploring new directions, new themes. Like, that's great. I'm glad the MCU was doing that after Endgame. Unfortunately, from the box office numbers, is not working out. And we all know, with any company, Shay, what is the determining factor?
Money.
Dollar signs.
Yeah.
So, with the box office numbers not being where they should be, for example, the Marvels lost
A bomb,
a
unfortunately.
lot of money.
Which we thought it was great. But
We thought it was actually really solid. I did personally, but a lot of people didn't. It was the biggest box office bomb in the MCU history. So, with that being said, bringing back what works, the Russo brothers directed Infinity War, directed Endgame, both box office hits.
and Civil War. So arguably the top 3 movies of the MCU.
Yeah. And even 8 years later, they still, to me, like hold up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the best, not just MCU movies, but some of the best movies, period,
Mhm.
that I've seen. So bringing them back is a good move. Like, I think there's no controversy with that whatsoever. You know what you're getting with the Russo brothers. You know they're going to do a good job. So that's good. Now, about Robert Downey Jr., though, playing Doctor Doom, I have a lot of mixed feelings. And it's not just me. I've read a lot of comments on articles and posts. A lot of Marvel fans actually aren't as excited as you might think. And for me, growing up,
What was your first initial reaction? Because I broke the news to you when you were on vacation, right? So what was your initial reaction, and then what is your, now that it's been a week or so, what do you feel now?
so my first initial reaction even really wasn't like cheering. It was like, what the, like, WTF moment.
Yeah.
What is going on? Now having time to sit on it, I'm kind of leaning more towards that I don't really like it. Especially with somebody, Iron Man came out in 2008. I was 8 or 9 years old at the time. Like, I grew up with the MCU. I saw Iron Man movies, I saw the Avengers. And growing up with Iron Man all the way up until Avengers Endgame, I mean, that character cannot be said enough about its icon.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally the start of the MCU. Iron Man. If Iron Man had failed, the MCU would not be here.
Yeah.
And I've heard from other sources that they say that Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Iron Man was one of the best castings ever.
Yeah, for sure.
In film history. So with that being said, just how big Iron Man is and how big and how much Robert Downey Jr. is associated with Iron Man, me seeing him coming to play a different character and it's not even a superhero, it's a villain, and not just any villain, it's the main villain now in the MCU. It just doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't. So I'm not as excited, like I said, as people might think. But Shay, you were telling me something the other day about it. I want to hear your thoughts.
So I agree. The Russo brothers coming back is probably the best decision Marvel could have made. It's really interesting because after Endgame, they said they wouldn't come back to the MCU and do another Marvel movie, but Marvel probably paid them a lot of money to come back, which, hey, it's a lot of money. So I think them coming back is good. But Robert Downey Jr., now just him alone, he's going to crush being Doctor Doom. He's a fantastic actor. He's going to be amazing. Him just being Doctor Doom is not the issue. Like, he'll be
100%.
He'll be fantastic as Doctor Doom.
There's no doubt that Robert Downey Jr. and his acting will crush the role.
Yeah, but so we saw, of course, there's no more spoilers anymore. It's been years. Iron Man's dead, people. This
If you didn't know that, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah. We the fans have theorized that he would come back as maybe like a flashback or something in some other movie, which I think we all probably expected to bring RDJ back. Would be a nice touch to everything, but to come back as Doctor Doom, who's the new Thanos replacing Kang, which we'll get into after. It's a safe move in my opinion. Marvel, after everything, the last few years that Marvel has had, mostly disappointments with a few shining moments like Loki and Shang-Chi and everything. Black Panther sequel, of course. But mostly disappointing numbers. I think they've gotten ahead of the curve by taking a break this year with just Deadpool. And as you said, it was exactly what they needed. But this, in my personal opinion, them bringing RDJ to be Doctor Doom was probably the safest move they could have done. Not taking any chances, being like, oh, let's just bring back the guy that everybody loves, but instead of him, magically coming back to life, we're just going to make him the bad guy now. And I don't like it. Again, he'll be fantastic as Doctor Doom. There's no issues there, but to just bring back the actor that started the MCU to now, quote unquote, end the MCU, I just don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. It would be different, like, if it was a side character, like a small side character, like, even Doctor Strange, which I know Doctor Strange is not really that small of a character, but still. But literally, like I said, the icon of the MCU for so many years, now bring him back as a villain, like you said, it's a safe move. You described it to me as a cop out.
Yeah,
Marvel has now basically thrown in the white flag. What we're doing is not working, so we're going to bring back the original formula.
Now, I have faith still that they'll work around to make it great and to not step on the toes of Iron Man and how he died for the MCU to survive and all that stuff. I have faith that they'll do it right. It still just bugs me. That's Iron Man. And they might spin it as, oh, it's a variant of Tony Stark actually becomes Doctor Doom or whatever. But even with that, it's, I get he's a variant, but now he's playing the main villain and he was just the main hero. I just don't know.
Now, I do want to play a little devil's advocate here. Like you said, you have faith that Marvel is going to spin it to make it good. So it got me thinking. Like you said, it's obviously going to be a Tony Stark from another Earth, not Earth 616.
Yeah, that's the only way I could see it. I don't think they would ever just be like, oh, here's Victor Von Doom and RDJ is just playing Victor Von Doom. No,
I don't think so. Somehow. It's going to be a Tony Stark from another Earth variant that did not become Iron Man, became Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And they're going to explain that somehow. But think about this. Can you imagine during Avengers Doomsday when all the Avengers, including Spider-Man, finally meet Doctor Doom and he takes off his mask?
Yeah, and it's Tony.
And they see Tony Stark. Can you imagine the reactions, especially from Spider-Man, from War Machine?
Yeah, what pisses me off is because we didn't get that in Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion sucked.
Yeah, it was great until the final episode.
No, for me, literally the last episode ruined the entire series.
Yeah, so that pisses me off. We didn't get that in the finale of Secret Invasion of Rhodey asking about Tony Stark and having that amazing emotion. You didn't have to have Tony there, but all you had to do was have Rhodey be like, "Where's Tony?" Oh my god, everyone starts crying. But no, we didn't get that. So now it's years and years and years later, in what would assume be he would still be around in Avengers Doomsday, and they do something like that, and now that's Tony. Like, oh, that pisses me off.
I know. It literally would have been perfect. Like, this is why Marvel is doing this, because they screwed up Secret Invasion.
But sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, it got me thinking, like, that would be like a big emotional moment, especially for Peter Parker.
Yeah, it would be a big moment. I would imagine probably be somewhere near the end of Doomsday. But again, it's just in the back of my head, like, that's a cop-out.
Exactly. So, like, for me, that's great to think about, but you're going to watch the movie and you're going to be like, he should not be Doctor Doom. Like, yeah. It just doesn't sit right. But let us know what you guys think. If you're a Marvel fan and you saw the news or you watched San Diego Comic-Con, or even if you were there.
Yeah. Or if you were there, yeah.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. From the video, obviously the people that were there, when Robert Downey Jr. revealed himself, they all cheered.
It was a very cool reveal. It was very
It was. But like I said, online, there's been a lot of divisive opinions, so let us know what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you like us? Do you have mixed feelings? Or you're just like, I'm not going to go see this movie. I'm done. This movie's garbage. The MCU's garbage. Which may be true. But yeah, let us know. Now there's another thing though that comes up with this. What's going to happen to Kane?
So real quick, before our break, we discussed Jonathan Majors and the issues that were going on around him, and he was found guilty, so Marvel had to fire him, obviously, and
they did the right thing.
Absolutely,
they should not have.
He is a terrible person.
Kept him. They should not have swept on the rug. They did the right thing.
Yes, they did the right thing, and he's a terrible person. But after Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Dr. Doom, Jonathan Majors tweeted, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially he just said that it's sad to see that Kang is going to be no more and that Dr. Doom is now the big villain. And I just kind of laughed and just thought, like, man, you literally did this to yourself. This is all your fault.
Yeah, kind of funny. I don't really have words for that.
But as far as Kang, they're going to have to explain it somehow. It's way too big of a loose end to just be like, oh, hey, Dr.
Kang's gone.
Yeah, Kang's just disappeared. But it is disappointing to maybe see that Kevin Feige's long-standing vision of this phase, this saga, the multiverse saga, isn't actually going to come to fruition. It had to change.
Which really sucks, because as we said before, if Kane was allowed to be played out in its entirety, I think, and I think Shay thought too, that he would have been a way bigger villain than Thanos ever was.
Yeah, and before Jonathan Majors did what he did, I mean, he was amazing as Kang. He's a phenomenal actor. He really is. And if we got to these Avengers movies and you had all the Kang variants come together and do the Kang multiversal war and everything, like, I can only imagine what that would be. That would be something crazy. But nope.
Yep. Thanks, Majors. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I think my theory is because after Loki season 2, and again, if this is spoiled for you, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah, it's been over a year or 2 years now.
So, at the end, they said they were going to start hunting down all the Kane variants.
Yeah.
So they'll probably just be like, all right, we've hunted down all the variants. But they're also going to have to explain, like, how the variants get out of their little like pocket universe somehow. Because if you remember, all the Kanes like teleported to a location.
Yep.
After Loki season 1, so they're gonna have to explain like how they got out of there or how they found where they were. But like I said, they'll probably just do that, and then they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, we got rid of all the Kane variants, so there's no more threat." Basically,
unless they explain it over the next few movies, and so then that means each director has like their own little input on it. If the Russo brothers were the ones that just explained it come Avengers Doomsday or the movie before that, I think they would be the best ones to explain what happened to Kang and the variants and why Doom is going to be the big bad and not Kang. They would be the best ones. But if Marvel just goes with kind of like their formula where they do the post-credit scenes after every movie and it's something different, then like I just, it's really, really, because there's so much loose ends, it's going to be really hard to just be like, oh yeah, Kang and his variants, they don't really matter anymore. You thought he was going to be so big and bad, but he's not. It's actually Doctor Doom, which Doctor Doom is definitely big and bad, but what happened? Why? Thanks, Jonathan Majors.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting how they explain that. But after that, next year, like we said, Captain America: Brave New World, the next MCU movie is coming out, I think, in February.
Yeah.
The trailer, I saw it during the Deadpool movie. Looks really good. I do love Sam Wilson and his Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited for that, especially with the Secret Invasion ending like implements on like the Earth.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's happening. Basically, if you don't remember, Earth basically declared war on all the Skrulls, but you don't know who's who.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the new Captain America. It's going to be a grounded movie, nothing to really do with the multiverse, so that's a good step, right? Especially after Deadpool and Wolverine and Harrison Ford now replacing, I forget his name, unfortunately, but the actor who was, oh god,
Was like the president.
well, he's going to be the president of the movie, but secretary, nope.
It's okay if you can't remember, Shay. It's fine.
Thunderbolt Ross, there it is. Harrison Ford is now playing Thunderbolt Ross, and Harrison Ford is obviously one of the greatest of all time, so that's going to be awesome to see him in the MCU. And then to be the Red Hulk, ooh, I think it's going to be very good.
Yeah, really excited for that. And like I said, look forward to Venom 2. Technically not an MCU movie.
No, but it's Tom Hardy's last Venom movie, so it's probably going to be emotional and stuff too.
So, yeah, look forward for that. If you haven't seen those trailers, what are you doing? Go look them up right now. Literally
now.
stop.
Just don't even listen to the podcast
Stop
anymore.
Listening to this podcast right now and go look at those 2 trailers. All right. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of stuff coming up, including a little recap of the NHL and NBA playoffs.
Because that happened while we were on break.
Exactly. We'll give you an update look at NASCAR, because we missed about all the seasons, except for the Daytona 500. And we're going to look at the MLB standings. And yeah, look forward to that. And we will see you very soon. And welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to get into sports news and talk about what happened around the NHL, the NBA, NASCAR, because we were gone. So we didn't get to update you guys on any of that.
5 whole months.
Not partial months. Whole months. Remember that.
remember that.
Well, hold on, actually. So, if it's a leap year and it's February 29th, does that mean every other 3 years are partial months?
That's not this kind of podcast.
We need Neil deGrasse
Yes.
here right now.
Let's email Star Talk real quick.
Uh,
All right.
oh,
So,
the FBI has found us.
oh,
We figured it out.
podcast is over. Bye.
All right. So, getting into the NHL, your Florida Panthers are the first-time champions.
Who's your Florida Panthers?
Whoever is a Florida Panthers fan.
Okay.
The Florida Panthers are first-time champions in their history.
Yep.
And their captain, Alexander Barkov, is the first Finnish captain in NHL history to win the cup.
Nice little factoid right there.
Yep. And I've been seeing all over social media, and it hurts me as a Lightning fan. Days with the cup, really cool to see the cup just travel everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why the Stanley Cup, one of the best trophies in all sports.
Yeah, I personally liked it going into the Atlantic Ocean. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, really cool. Congrats, though, to the Florida Panthers. They deserved it. They were an absolute wagon during the playoffs, even though the Edmonton Oilers almost pulled off the reverse sweep.
Almost.
After being down 3-0. First time, that would have been the first time if they won since 1942.
Yep.
And I think they were only like the 10th team in history to force a Game 7 in a series after being down 3-0. So it does not happen very often.
No.
Would have loved to see that, though. That would have been history in the making. And it would have been McDavid's first cup.
Exactly.
And Shay, what would we say? Now all the talk during the offseason has been, well, can't win a cup with McDavid. Yeah, McDavid had 2 back-to-back 4-point games in the Stanley Cup final, the first player to ever do that. But he didn't have any points in Game 6 or 7, so he can't perform when it matters.
Yep, he sucks. Yeah, McDavid's a pretty good hockey player, but, you know, he's not on that Gretzky level. He'll never be there. He's not the greatest of all time. He's not the greatest of our generation. He sucks. That's what the talk's been.
Yeah, don't you just love sports fans? But in light of the Oilers, unfortunately, losing in Game 7, Connor McDavid, though, had himself a playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
His records include, but aren't limited to, most assists in a playoff run with 34, 6th player on the losing team to win the Conn Smythe, which is playoffs MVP. And if you didn't know, in hockey, it can be awarded to any player, unlike basketball and football, where it's awarded just in the finals.
Yep.
To the winning team every time.
But usually it's from one of the teams in the finals.
Yeah. He's also has the 4th most points in a playoff run with 42, and that was 22 more points than Alexander Barkov, who led the Florida Panthers in playoff scoring. So that's insane. He had himself a run for the ages.
Oh, 100%. I did not watch any of the games until Game 7, especially once Florida went up 3-0. I just kept telling you, that's it. Florida's got it in the bag. That's it. Oh, they're up 3-1. They still got it. 3-2. They still got it. But Game 7, I still thought Florida was going to win, but I wanted to see what McDavid might do. And boy, oh boy, he might not have had any points, but he left it all out there on the ice.
Yeah, watching his reaction after time ended, it was kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Literally skated to the bench, sat down, just put his head in his arms, and you could tell he was just so defeated.
Even for the Oilers themselves, they had such a terrible start to the year, fired their coach. People didn't think that would do much. They just a lot of people just thought it was, Oilers are going to suck this year, make it all the way to the finals. and almost win it all.
They almost did. And I was one of the people that wrote them off.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, they're done.
But
I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I love McDavid.
Yeah.
And I like Draisaitl and a lot of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I think we can agree. I mean, I think he is definitely the greatest of our generation, for sure. He is the greatest player in the hockey league, in National Hockey League right now. Greatest player in the world. And I think his Game 7 performance, even though he didn't prove or score any points, proved that the most because he was out there more than anybody else right up till the final second, trying so hard to score.
Yeah, that whole series in general, I mean, I could go in a lot of detail, but it was one of the biggest momentum shifts I had ever seen in a series. And going into Game 7, I was like you. I still kind of expected Florida to win, but I'm like, the Oilers have a real shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, just insane. I mean, McDavid is just the beast. There's really nothing else I can say. But the Oilers are the favorites to win the Cup for the 2024-2025 season. And a lot of the offseason moves they made, I think they did a really good job setting themselves up.
Well, we'll see.
So we'll see about that.
Florida's going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, which there is a Stanley Cup hangover. For the first 10 games of the season, if your team won the Cup, typically they don't get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
Now, they shouldn't get off to like an awful start. But the theory is it can be hard to get up for those first few games in October because you've won the Cup. So you don't really have a lot of motivation, as a lot of other teams and players do.
Yeah, even if they get off to a slow start, I have no doubt they'll figure it out and at least make the playoffs. But I think they could easily get back to the finals.
Oh, for sure. But again, congrats to the Panthers. They deserved it. And we'll see if Edmonton can do the same thing the Panthers did. Because the Panthers went to the final when Vegas won the Cup. Got all the way back there and won it all. So we'll see if the Oilers can get back to the final and win it all.
We will see. Moving on to basketball. My Boston Celtics.
Boo.
It was awesome. Just completely dominated the entirety of the playoffs. And made a little bit of history. You know what that history is, Jairus?
They set the record, not just any record, but probably the biggest record you can have in a sport with 18 Larry O'Brien trophies. The most NBA championships in history. Exactly.
Finally got banner 18. This has been a long time coming, of course. We've been, ever since 2020, we've been tied with the Lakers at 17 championships apiece. And if anyone knows basketball, those are the two rivals in all of the NBA throughout history. So really nice to just get one up there above the Lakers. But the Celtics dominated all playoffs. They didn't get much talk during the regular season because they were expected to get to the finals and be dominant. And they did just that. They steamrolled pretty much everybody. And the Mavericks, even though I love Luka and Kyrie is one of the best in the world, no chance. No chance.
Yeah, but Shay, didn't they have an easy playoff route?
Oh, yeah, because
that's what a lot of people said.
The teams they faced, a lot of their star players got injured, or some of their star players were injured or something. And
including the Miami Heat.
Yeah, with Jimmy Buckets. But they can't control if the other team gets injured or not. Jason Tatum got injured the season prior in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals on the very first play of the game. But did the Celtics fans cry that the Heat had an easy victory over the series? Because no, we can't control injuries.
Yeah, as much Obviously, I'm not a Boston fan.
Mavericks were healthy. They were not injured.
Obviously, I'm not a Boston fan, and as much as I hate the Celtics, I have to agree. You cannot make the argument that just because the teams were injured, that the Celtics basically had a free pass to the finals. You play with the cards you're given, and you win the games, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. So with that being said, Celtics hung up banner 18. I can't wait to see the banner go up on banner night this upcoming season. Jaylen Brown, he was Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and to many people's shock, he was Finals MVP, which he deserves. Jason Tatum, because he was rewarded because they just won the championship. After Jaylen Brown the year prior, he is now the highest paid basketball player of all time, setting a 5-year, $315 million extension. And not only him, Derek White got an extension. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis got extensions earlier in the year. So our starting core, our starting five, is locked in. So this Celtics team is not going anywhere. So sorry about it.
So yeah, the East should be very scared.
New dynasty here, boys. Just boys and girls. Just letting you know, new dynasty.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Woo!
So yeah, congrats on the Celtics for winning their championship, and Lakers fans, tough luck.
I will say, Lakers fans, the new statue with Kobe Bryant and Gigi is literally perfection.
Yeah. Even after all this time, it still hits 4 years later.
The perfect statue. And it was so well done and so beautifully done. Kobe's smiling down on it and is just so proud of it. So it's just beautiful.
Yep. Black Mamba forever.
That's right.
So yeah, congrats on the Celtics to their championship. Honestly, a surprising playoffs as a whole. A lot of the contenders were out very early. But as we mentioned, a lot of them had their star players injured, including Milwaukee, Damian Lillard, and Giannis got injured.
Yep.
76ers had aspirations, but they were knocked out in the first round. The Clippers and who is it on their team?
Well, they have Paul George and James Harden.
James Harden, yeah. They were out in the first round early. Nuggets, shockingly, I thought, lost to the Timberwolves in 7 games, kind of in dramatic fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would say it was a choke, but it was...
It wasn't a choke, but it's definitely a surprise.
It was definitely surprising. Yeah, and like we said, a lot of injury-riddled teams, including the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler got injured.
Tyler Hero wasn't playing because he was injured.
Yeah. Terry Rozier got injured as well, so we really did not have a chance. I love Jimmy Butler, but I found it kind of weird how he tweeted out like if he was in the lineup, the Celtics would have lost. Which, I mean, okay, like maybe, but I don't think so.
No.
So yeah, but we'll see what happens with the Heat this upcoming season. Not feeling too confident. But there were teams that really shined. The Timberwolves had a run to the Western Conference Final along with the Dallas Mavericks, and the Indianapolis Pacers had a pretty good run. And I will say, even though that Eastern Conference Finals was a sweep, the games were pretty close. So I do think that series could have gone either way.
The Pacers led in 3 of the 4 games by double digits, but the Celtics just came back.
The Celtics fought back because they knew how to win. They knew what they needed to do.
I will say, Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves, he is incredible, and how he plays and some of the things that he does, and especially because he is a certified trash talker. he just looks so much like Michael Jordan. It's not even funny. And that is a massive compliment. And I'm not the only one saying that. So I'm really excited. And he's such a young player. So I'm really excited to see how his career unfolds because he was amazing to watch. And he has all the confidence in the world. And I'm just excited to see him grow.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. So that's the basketball playoffs, and can't wait for this upcoming season. So finally, we're gonna recap NASCAR because it's been a while.
And that's going on. Yeah.
So first off, we probably talked about before, but William Byron did win the Daytona 500, and also Hendrick Motorsports, I believe, has set records. I think they got their like 300th win this year,
number 300.
So, yeah, what can you say? Hendrick Motorsports, the best, has had the best drivers in history.
That's right.
So I'm not surprised at all. Right now, Kyle Larson leads the standings with 4 wins. Then you got Denny Hamlin, William Byron in the top 3, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, who locked himself in with a win at Darlington in May, and that broke for him a 1,113-day winless streak, spanning 110 races. So good for him. I'm sure when he got that win, he was very, very happy.
Oh, I bet.
To finally break that. So after Brad Keselowski, then we got Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, Martin Truex Jr., Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, and Ross Chastain round out the top 16. And right below the cutoff line, we got Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, and Todd Gillen.
All 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers have a win, and so they're automatically in the playoffs. Just say it.
Again, can't say enough about Hendrick. Just, it's awesome to see. So, yeah, I think I've heard with like Joey Logano before he got his win, it's been like a very disappointing last couple years for him. Mm-hmm. So he will more than likely be back in the playoff picture. But Kyle Busch is in at 19th.
Still not a win.
Needs to get a win because he's one of my favorite drivers.
There's only like 4 or 5 races left too before the regular season. So if he doesn't get it, he's probably almost to the point where he needs a win to get in, but not quite yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah, it looks he's sitting with 440 points. The cutoff right now, Ross Chastain is 552.
Yeah, so he's either going to need a win or some luck to go his way.
Yeah.
Which has not been happening.
Yeah, so kind of a disappointing season for Kyle Busch. So we'll see if any of those 4 drivers can jump into a playoff spot and who falls out. Let's see. Oh, so one big news topic that I did want to talk about for NASCAR, because this is pretty big. Stewart-Haas Racing. Tony Stewart and Gene Haas, home to champions of Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick. They are shutting down at the end of the season. Pretty sad news. Just over the last 4 years, they've really struggled to adapt to the next gen era of NASCAR. And they've just decided that, the amount of money they're putting in, they're not getting a lot of return on their investment, and it's just time to, call it quits.
Yeah, move on.
So after this news was announced, Front Row Motorsports purchases charters for between 20 and 25 million reportedly. But Gene Haas said he's going to keep a charter and run his own car as the Haas factory team for next season.
So kind of just going back to square one for at least Gene Haas. Tony Stewart is really, really into drag racing right now, so most of his intention is going to the drag racing world of motorsports. Gene Haas, he's going just to one car, so don't expect really a lot of strong finishes or wins even, at least in the immediate future. And Front Row Motorsports purchasing one of the Chargers is big for them because they're still a relatively new team with just 2 drivers, and they've been very successful right away with Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. So they're going to have another car with them, and they're a really good team. So it's going to be really interesting to see how 3 cars now under that umbrella will do.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's the end of an era. Stewart Haas Racing will be no more.
That is right.
It's kind of sad to see, but they just, like I said, haven't been able to adapt. They haven't been able to keep up with the blue chips like Hendrick and Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
So
Press F in the chat to pay respects.
yeah, but I love Tony Stewart. Loved him when he was in NASCAR. Still races too, I believe, on his NHRA team.
Yeah, he still races drag racing. He's still into the dirt scenes.
Yeah, so we'll see what he does. Continues in his drag racing scene, and who knows, maybe Gene Haas might surprise some people.
We'll see.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for our first episode back. For just saying
from
that
our break,
we've done it. We started again, and that's the hardest part, is starting.
Yep, that's
so
it.
We completed the hardest part.
We are back. It is very, very nice to be back. We're excited with this tweaked format, you could say, to continue it and just have discussions and hopefully get you guys involved more and hear from you guys. So with that being said, please, if you enjoy this podcast and enjoy listening to us, make sure you follow us on Facebook. That is definitely our main hub for sure, but we'll definitely be getting into Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff more so in the future. We have a YouTube page.
Yes, we do.
So please subscribe.
We will be posting the podcast episodes on there, and maybe some more stuff in the future.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
So,
that's to talk about in the future, though. Not right now. But thank you, everyone, so much for listening. We're glad to be back, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.